Okay, this week we got a little bit of a conceptual illustration project for you. The idea is to interview a friend or a family member or somebody who doesn't live with you on a normal basis and to make a piece of art that comes out of their answer. Now, I decided to keep it simple and just ask one question with a follow up question to a friend of mine and recorded it. In a minute, I'll show the initial kind of note taking drawing stages that I made. But as you can see, it's a pretty loose drawing, about the size of a sketchbook drawing. And it's partially conceptual and partially things that he told me, and it just became kind of an amalgam of different things. So here's the recorded conversation in the beginning of the drawing. If you could go back to a day in your past, why would you go back there? And what would you give up right now in order to be able to do that?
Okay, here's the question. I mean, before I can answer this is why I'm terrible at stuff like this. Okay, so you're saying, what would I was going to say, where would I go back? You're saying the first question is, why would I go, wait, say, what was the first question again?
Like you have to go back to one day either to fix something or to enjoy something, or like you love concerts and stuff,
I got what I'm asking. What was the first question?
That was the question. Like, where would you go?
It would be somewhere in 82, early 82.
Somewhere in early 82. Tell me more.
Well, I mean, Jesus.
Was it summertime? Was it wintertime?
There's a couple days in 82 I would take, and one was in the summertime, and I was working at this camp in Hillsdale, PA, and and I was working at this camp with this girl named Tammy, and I just that's the first. I was just really. That was the first time. I had girlfriends before, but I was like, how old was I? 18, 19. That was the first time I fell in love and everything. And we just had. It was one great day by the falls. We were working at the camp in the forest. So you're away from people who were riding horses, and you're with the kids in the day. And I did the boating, she did the art, and we go away and we get a day off. We go spend the day at the falls. And I remember that was such a great day. But also, 2 months later, there was this day where I'd seen my first Grateful Dead show in Syracuse, and I spent the next day hitchhiking up to Buffalo, and I got picked up by these frat guys, and we stopped at the border. Somehow we ended up in Canada. I was even going to Canada, and I'm hanging on the back of these trolleys to go to Canada, and I'm getting picked up by these shady characters, and I get across the border, and I find my friend Frank, and I give him the rest of my money for a ride, and I lose. I'm going to see the Who now, the Who and the Clash. I forgot that part. So then I'm seeing the Who and the Clash, and those are the two best concerts of my life, and it was all one weekend, and the adventures and the danger, and then losing my ride, having no money, and it's raining, and I have a shirt because I threw it on the stage, and Tulsa goes, want this back to me, and threw it behind him, and then it's raining when he started playing Love Rain on Me, and I'm banging on windows, and I finally find this guy selling bootleg t-shirts, and he's heading back to Syracuse, and he gives me a ride, and I get there at 3 in the morning, and my girlfriend gets me pizza because they were open all night delivering pizza, and we just had a great, she was very welcoming. that was so somewhere in that weekend is the greatest day I can remember. Now, okay, so that's when it would be, that one. Yeah, but it was almost the other one that just a few months earlier. 2 different girlfriends, by the way.
All right, so the second question is, what would you give right now to go back and do
here's
that?
The question. What would I give right now? So if I'm giving up something now, does that mean I go back, have this day, the day's done, and I'm back here without that thing ever came out?
Yes.
Is that the scenario? Okay,
yeah, you get one day.
Suddenly I vanish from now.
Yeah.
I'm there. I relive my day. Can it be those 2 days spread? Or 3 days spread? Can I do that? Or
sure, I'll give you that. Sure, 2 or 3 days spread in the summer of '82.
Now here's the question: is it just me back in that place again, so I relive it, and I come back here, and it's the same memory, or am I conscious of who I am now, and I'm living in that, watching myself doing it all again, experience it again? But in my head, I also know, look, I'm doing this again.
Yeah, you get to go back like the traditional time travel where you are
What does
yourself
that
from
mean?
the future. You keep all your current memories, and you know
But I
that
get
you.
that body watching. Because I don't want to. I don't want to have to be responsible for moving because I can't remember everything I did. You know what I mean? Like, I still want to ride and watch, right? I'm
Yeah,
not in control.
just pretend it's a TV show, and everything is gonna just. It just allows you to do it.
So everything's exactly the same,
It has like
no
some
matter what.
quantum, just it's quantum leap style, man. You know.
I don't know what you're saying. Listen, just tell me, it's all gonna be the same no matter what I do, right? Like I'm not altering anything.
Yeah, I'm just asking you, like a finger, like what's up, you know?
Okay, I think I can get it. But there is a big difference now. You're making me dumb.
How much
Okay,
do you love
so
your dog?
what would I give up now to do that? I have that one time again. Is the memory so great? But God, the adventures I used to go on, the way I would just get in the car and be in strange places, strange people, and there's always so much involved that I can't even mention in this phone call. So it's of all aspects. Um, what would I give up for that? I don't know. I mean, like, give up. Would I give up? I would give up a year. I would give up 3 years paid forward to do that. Meaning, whenever I was going to die, I subtract 3 years of being old and like, whatever the condition I'll be in, to go back and live that weekend again.
So given that you're gonna grow to be that old, then 3 years off the end of your life when your quality of life
Yeah,
is significantly
depending
lower.
on what, if I can see I had the condition I'm in, because I'm just like right now I'm already starting to get old. Like, let's say I live to 85, maybe. Let's say 83. I doubt it. And I doubt I'm going to feel great those last few years. Yeah, I'll give you those last five, How's that? Is that good?
Last five, so I get 3 to 5. Let's just call it 3 to 5 on
Yeah.
average. Wow, I got all that down. I couldn't draw that, so I was just writing it.
See, I'm the wrong person. I can't just answer simple stuff like that. Simple. I take it too seriously.
So my friend's answer was longer than I had anticipated, although I did anticipate a good story. So the whole time I was just kind of soaking in, not necessarily one aspect of what he was saying, but more the spirit of it. And this car emerged, I think, because at the end of the conversation he was mentioning that he would just get in the car and have these adventures, and the car seemed to make all of this possible, and hitchhiking and doing different things in his youth, going to concerts, and playing guitars, and just having general freedom. So this car came out of it, and there's a figure over there playing guitar. For composition's sake, he became left-handed. I'm drawing right over the notes that I made when I was listening to my friend on the phone. And some of them survive to the end, and others just kind of get erased by the layering effect. That's a ballpoint pen with some colored pencil. Sometimes when I'm doing a very small drawing, sometimes I'll just take the color directly off the pencils the way you would a watercolor tab, but just use the pencil and then go over those areas. Now, whatever your question is, and I put some examples in the description of the project, make sure that it's something that you're going to be able to work with, something visual. I asked my friend if he could go back to one day. He kind of had to paint a picture for me a little bit, and I didn't end up using all of it, but it got the ball rolling. So if you were to interview an older person, they were talking about the food that they used to cook, or the house where they used to live. It doesn't matter if you draw what they made or the house exactly. Just do your own interpretation of it. The interview is just a bonus and a different way to think about the starting of a work of art. I don't think I would have made this if I had not talked to my friend. First, I thought this is not a very good drawing, which may be true, but I think the thing that I do like about it is that it's very fuzzy. It doesn't seem to sit still. And I like that because his story didn't seem to sit still either. It went from bouncing around from thing to thing. And I think that's because at the root of that question, you're trying to recapture a spirit of something, not necessarily to go back and relive a day exactly the way it was. You're just trying to get a feeling. Any question doesn't have to involve time travel or anything of that sort. You could just say, ask your best friend's mom what her school was like when she was 9 years old. She'll have to paint you a picture of that too, and it'll come with visions in your head that you can try and interpret on the paper. And again, with all these projects, I'm using simple materials, but you can do this with anything you want. I imagine that these two figures in here could, just hop in the car and follow the band, which was common practice for the Grateful Dead, one of the bands that he mentioned, as well as the Who and the Clash. And these big years kind of popped out in the composition in the end, 1982, which he mentions, and 1965, which he mentions later in the conversation, which is not part of the recording, but it's a very small drawing, you can see, and it's just kind of a dream, because I can't really know what it looked like to him to be in that time and to answer that question. So you interpret it your own way too.